A very good afternoon to you all and welcome from me, Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma, to Lunchtime News here on UBC TV this Thursday, the second day of March 2023. We are coming to you live online and on air from Broadcast House here on Nile Avenue. Now, Minister for Karamoja Affairs, Dr. Mary Goretti Kitutu, and Minister for Finance, Matia Kasaija, appeared before the Presidential Affairs Committee of Parliament to answer queries on the Karamoja iron sheets bonanza. Whereas Minister Kasaija told the committee that he has a balance of the iron sheets that he received and he is ready to give them back, Minister Kitutu failed to account for what she received. Take a watch.
Appearing before the Presidential Affairs Committee of Parliament was Minister for Finance Matia Kasaija and Minister for Karamoja Mary Goretti Kitutu to answer queries on accountability and value for money for Karamoja support. First were officials for Ministry of Defence led by Minister Maxon Oboth. They were being questioned on why some of their vehicles were involved in ferrying the items.
The minutes of that meeting would have helped us to debunk the truth behind the alleged request by the UPDF for the relief food items.
Then came Minister for Finance Matia Kasaija to give a breakdown on how the 135 billion supplementary budget that was meant to support the disarmament and provision of agricultural inputs, mainly goats, was spent.
We have evidences for these releases of maize to UPDF.
But it's not within our deliveries. We never received those ones, according to our report here.
Having received the iron sheets meant for Karamoja, Matia Kasaija told the committee that although he received the iron sheets, he neither asked for them nor had the idea that they were meant for Karamoja.
Can you prove that this money is not only meant for Karamoja, but also other parts of the country? Because we knew it is meant to feed the people of Karamoja sub-region.
He says his consignment is still intact and is ready to return them.
Now that you are a victim in this circumstance, what is your take as a key minister of this country?
The iron sheets were taken away from the Karamoja allocation. I was not aware of that. Now, if they are really now, particularly now the man which is in my home here in Kampala, I want to return those iron sheets.
Thank you.
The two ministers for Karamoja Affairs, Mary Goretti Kitutu and Agnes Nandutu, also appeared for inquiries. Minister Kitutu was asked to give the performance report on the procurement process, supply of the sickly goats, distribution of iron sheets, list of beneficiaries, and the parishes. The minister is also alleged to have left tons of maize flour meant for distribution to the anger-stricken people in Karamoja rotting, and some delivered to other districts.
I don't think I oversee the distribution of food. So I think he needs to withdraw his statement that the ministers influenced food to go to.
The minister is said to have supplied only 12,000 goats to the beneficiaries in Karamoja during the launch, which she still failed to account for. She has been asked to present a comprehensive report on the procurement and distribution process, list of beneficiary and items distributed, and parishes that benefited. Susan Naonga reporting for UBC TV.
Now, the man who was recently paraded before the media by National Unity Platform, claiming to have been tortured while in detention, has retracted his allegations. Eric Mwesigwa told the media in Kampala that it was a deal organized by NUP leadership to blackmail and demonize government over kidnap and torture by security agencies. Now, this was at a media briefing held at the Ministry of Defense and Veteran Affairs at Mbuya in Kampala. We have more in this story.
Eric Mwesigwa, who was paraded before the media by National Unity Platform President Robert Kyagulanyi at NUP headquarters in Kamoja, has denied that it was security that had tortured him.
Because nga NUP yalina byensuubiza okumpa byetasobola tuukiriza kuba mbadde mudwa mbadde jembadde nga ndi mu kusafaringa nga mpitambere y'okunyigirizibwa.
Mwesigwa claims that the wounds were inflicted on him by the same group after promising him 50 million shillings and a trip to Europe.
Aba waneno twapanga ekintu kino eyantuukira bamuyita King Zali King Zali abeera ku gadi ya Kibanda.
He says he was lured into the deal by one of King Zali, a bodyguard to Robert Kyagulanyi.
Akolanga bodyguard wa Bobi Wine. Nandukiramu ekintu kyonna nga bwe kindi siga nukola kuti nego tofaayo togenda wuli ya pain yonna. So bajja ne bakukwata nga obakukwata balina biswe bakukuba no banga tosobola wuli ya pain yonna. Ne bakola bakukoze ne bakutochalinga ne bakuswaje bakusudde. Bamalo kusula ne bakujja ne befula nti government yakusudde ne bakutwala mu ddwaliro lyonna balako kuwa treatment biti byonna mwala ba media bene badde bitambula.
He says Noop abandoned him with wounds without treatment until security provided him medical and psychosocial support for full recovery.
Nti NUP ena drone yayo bwemanya ati kaddu omanyikiddwa oliwo NUP bagamba kaddu milioni zino 5 soko ziteke waka netugenda kwa milioni emirala maika 5 twala tukujja ku stage wokolera tukutwale tule minde tugenda okukola tule government tugirabise.
The spokesperson on Defense and Veterans Affairs, Brigadier General Felix Kwaija, says these are similar schemes by no party to soil and blackmail government before the public and international community.
Contrary to the torture narrative by Noop, it has since been established that Mr. Mwesigwa Eric was lured into a deal by Noop, and the wounds were inflicted on him by the same group after promising him monetary gains and treatment with the sole purpose of maligning government. Unfortunately, Noop abandoned him with his wounds without treatment and pay.
Kwaija says on many occasions the paraded individuals were victims of normal accident paraded to malign government for political gains.
It was later established many of the paraded individuals were victims of normal accidents occasioned by border borders and other incidents. They included, among others, Sebuganda Richard, who lost his hand in a student strike at Makerere University in 2020, and Kamuswaga Moses, who was injured trying to detonate a tear gas canister in 2012. We therefore call upon both the local and international media to always resist lending credence to perpetual Noop lies and aimed at maligning government for political gain.
Haruna Mteisasira, UBC.
Thanks, Haruna, for that story there. Now, the Executive Director, Kampala Capital City Authority, Dorothy Kisaka, and her technical team have been directed to rectify errors in the document presented before COSASE. Now, the Parliamentary Committee on Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises, COSASE, indicates that in the financial year 2021-2022, KCCA was allocated 96 billion shillings, yet the Auditor General's report indicates a different figure of 316.67 billion. The Director Treasury in charge of finance at KCCA, Kitabira Muganzi, admitted before the committee that the figure of 96 billion shillings was an error, requesting for time to make correction.
The whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Joseph Vincent Chirimanyi, swear that the evidence I shall give touching the matter before this committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Me God. So help me God.
So I don't know if these financial statements which were presented to the Auditor General are actually accurate, because there are so many inconsistencies, Chair, that if we are to dig deeper, we would find that actually there is a lot of misrepresentation of facts and figures in these financial statements.
So, Director Treasury, is it your submission that this 665 billion was an error in this document?
One of the figures, which I think we need to clear.
Okay, which figure is that had an error? What should have been the correct?
DOU allocations for the year were 96 billion. I think there was an error, a typo error, which we need to cross-check. has been moving, and the head treasury has not recognized it in this whole process and in the chain. Now that creates a suspicious feeling, and I am almost meant to propose that we put him on oath to own his documents first. The whole team will be submitting to us, and we don't know how many errors we are going to find out. I suggest that all of them are put on oath at once, all of them, so that we don't have to do piecemeal, that each one will separately be on oath.
Document, and I was looking at those signatures. There is a provision for the date. When you check all the signatures, where there is supposed to be a provision for the date, there is no date. So I just want the edit to be on record, whether you sign these documents or whether they just scan your signatures and dump them on the document.
If therefore this number does not tally with the number of the money we spent, definitely this is an error apparent on the record, because we cannot declare that we got more money than we actually got. So I'm seeking two things: that Chair and the committee would accept our apology. I would beg the indulgence of this committee to enable us re-examine these numbers and bring the correct one at the earliest opportunity possible. We want to do this process with integrity.
And the variances on this table we are talking about, the budget, the approved budget.
Now, the prime suspect in the murder of Maria Najirinya and Ronald Chitaimbwa, Kasolo Kopliam, alleges torture that was inflicted on him by security.
I recorded everything in Luganda. After recording his statement, I went back and I read all what he had told me before him. I asked him whether that is all he has to tell me about the case. He told me that whatever he has told me, that is all he has.
Nakatude told court that on 10th September 2019 recorded a charge and caution statement from Kasolo Kopriam and charged him with 3 counts.
His signatures are on every page of this statement. On all the 10 pages that I have, there is a signature for Kasolo Kopriam. I've never forced him, my lord. What is true is I recorded his statement and he willingly signed.
The second witness was SSP Ronald Tenywa, who was attached to Katwa Police Station by then. Ronald Tenywa told court that he marched Kasolo Kopriam to the office where Nakatude was waiting to record a charge and caution statement.
I handed him over and he was given a seat. I left there 2 people, Detective ASP Nakatude, Winifred, and Kasolo Kopriam.
However, Kasolo Kopriam says that he was tortured by security operatives while in detention and forced to sign on the statement.
Omusajja n'atandika okunkuba kibooko nga nkuba waya y'amasannyalaze mu bigere byange eno mu ntobo. Nagenda okuwulira obwonge eno bunneetooloola. Omusirikale omulala ow'okubiri kwaba bambadde ebya bbulaaka kyeva yajjayo pisito. Najja bw'ati n'anteeka pisito eyo mu kamwa kange.
Kasolo added that although he had insisted not to sign on the statement due to the torture inflicted on him, he finally had to sign on the statement.
Ngolala baga akojize okiri olabizi nakkiririzawo ne mbagamba muleke nsayininge we mwagala wonna wonna. Kuba namanya nti bikaseera ako obulamu bwange bwali bukomye naye nga nekyensayiningako sikimanyi nga ntidde okufa.
Kasolo also presented Lubega John as a witness.
Already yali aliko empingu ez'okumikono n'ez'okumagulu. Nabayo abasirikale abamu abajja ne bajja ne bakola ki ne bannona mu kunnyambaza ekikoofiira ne banfulumya ebweru.
Drama ensued during cross-examination as the accused kept on contradicting himself. Prosecution asked the court to disregard the accused's defense, citing lies.
Because he says, by the 10th, my lord, he had not been tortured. That by the 11th he was even checked of September 2019 by an officer at Katwe, and that officer found him without any torture.
Judge Isaac Mwata set 6th March 2023 to deliver ruling over this issue. Rebecca Natongo, Deborah Namamondi, UBC News.
Now, the Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development, Betty Amongi, will have to resign from her job if Parliament adopts the report of the Select Committee of Parliament on the National Social Security Fund. Legislator Mwine Mpaka, who chaired the Select Committee on NSSF, states that Minister Amongi abused her office by contravening the Anti-Corruption Act after she was found guilty on the controversial 6 billion shilling saga. The report asserts the action of Minister Amongi directing NSSF to avail 6 billion shillings to her ministry was illegal and also arbitrary to the NSSF Act. Parliament is to debate the report on NSSF saga this afternoon.
The long-awaited report of the Select Committee on the state of the affairs at the National Social Security Fund has finally been presented to Parliament. After about 1 month of investigations by a committee led by Mbarara South Member of Parliament Mwine Mpaka, a total of 27 recommendations are likely to be dead meat to the stakeholders behind the mishandling of the savers' funds.
The activities of the Minister of Gender are financed through appropriation under the Public Finance Management Act, and therefore the minister should explain the matters for which such funding was required, which are not funded through appropriation.
In a session chaired by Anita Among, the Speaker of Parliament, the committee report faults Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development Betty Amongi on grounds of abuse of office, recommending that she resigns immediately upon adoption of the report. Minister Betty Among put pressure on the management of NSSF to avail 6 billion shillings to the Gender Ministry.
In directing 6 billion to be availed to her ministry amounts to the abuse of office, since the minister, being the supervisor of NSSF without any law empowering her to do so and knowing that the ministry activities are financed through appropriation, did an act which is prejudicial to the savers' funds and the just administration of the NSSF. The actions of the minister are arbitrary and an abuse of office of the duty under the NSSF Act, thereby bringing her conduct within the ambit of the prohibition under Section 11.
The Mwine Mpaka report wants the current NSSF 12th Board of Directors to be dissolved after its failure to ensure that the funds are secure and profitable.
The diversion of 1.8 billion from its intended purpose, as indicated in the budget, to the personal aggrandizement in form of donations by board members, the Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development, and the Chairman of the Board and the unions, Koftu and Notu, is not only a breach of the fiduciary duty imposed under Section 4.3 of the NSSF Act, but also punishable conduct under the Anti-Corruption Act.
Whereas the report directs IGG to carry out a lifestyle audit on the former Managing Director of NSSF, Richard Byarugaba, most of the allegations against Byarugaba were found irrelevant since evidences were not presented by Minister Betty Among. Dr. Sam Liomochi and Penina Tukamwesiga have also been found as illegal members of the NSSF board since they jumped the right procedures of appointment. The report wants the duo to be recalled with immediate effect.
The committee finds that the conduct of Honorable Moki in soliciting the purchase of his land and yet is a sitting member of the board, conflict of interest, and further gives credence to the allegations that the investment decision of the board are influenced by personal considerations to the expense of the overall objectives of the fund.
Parliament is to debate the report on Thursday, 2nd March 2023, as Speaker Anita Among echoes for justice during the process. Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Guitabinji, UBC News.
To Jinja now, where sitting tenants on Plot 18 Main Street, Jinja City, are worried of eviction by a one Robert Ochaya, who allegedly bought the property of 5 apartments from government. Tenants decry mistreatment and allege that the circumstances under which the property was sold is unclear, yet they have not been compensated. Our reporter Ivan Kahwa had a chat with a member of the Divestiture Committee under the Custodian Board who confirms that the property was rightfully sold off. Take a watch.
The sale of the property on Plot 18 Main Street, Jinja City, is raising tension between the sitting tenants and government. Records from the Custodian Board show that the property was sold at 78,169,633. UBC managed to have access to 2 receipts confirming the transaction that was made in installments on the 21st of March 2017. The document headed Receipt for Rent/Water was used to purchase the property at 38,169,633 and 40 million respectively. Earlier, on the 15th of March 2016, the Custodian Board confirmed that the property was under its management and had not been allocated to anyone. 3 tenants were occupying this property since the 1990s. Nkaire Susan in 2004 and later Robert Ochaya in 2007, to whom the Custodian Board sold the property.
We have what they call private vitae and public auction. And all those are mandated by the Divestiture Committee.
So this one was sold under which?
I didn't carry those records. It could be better the secretary, who is the manager, custodian manager for the properties and files, to answer that.
So on that specific plot, did you send valuers?
They can, but the file can't go to the board without valuers.
Because the locals claim that they never saw any kind of valuer.
Who tells you?
Those are the locals.
Tetulabangako muntu, instead paperwork.
Did you make any advertisements when you are selling off that property?
We have 2 methods of
Is this part of the 2 methods?
Method 1 is a private vitae, where we can honor our tenant, who is our tenant, because he has been giving us rent.
And in fact, twataddeyo okusaba nga naffe we are interested naye kyentegeeza njogera mazima ndi mukyala mulokole batudinayinga abakastodian board. Waliwo ekijinji bwe kiti nga buli lwe mutuuka babakola bwe bati babagamba don't give them.
Then we can put in papers.
That's what Mr. Mayanja was saying. Mbukyali muba mu New Vision oba mu what? Mawulire kyaga agekweka. Bagateeka mu lupinyi mu lulimi ffe lwe tutategeera. Omuntu yenna natasobola kulaba search. This property is very sensitive.
Is it true Mr. Ochaya was given allocation on part of the apartments on that block? And this is the person government sold to the entire property.
They may have given him, if he applied, they may have given him the allocation. They don't give part, they give full.
Naye twewuunya how Custodian Board nga teze na ku ground newa omuntu ekifo kyonna from A up to D ng'ate omuntu alina half naye nemuwa nga naffe tebatubuuziza.
Why is it hard for government to compensate these people?
It's not the government to compensate them.
So who is supposed to compensate them?
They were paying us rent as government. Do they have receipts?
They do have receipts.
To Custodian Board?
They have receipts with the
one that
they were paying to.
Who?
Kati okusooka yali Shumuku abasolozanga rent. Then from Shumuku, then Gandesha n'atandikiraawo. Naye ate Gandesha bwe yafa, when he died, kati omutabani we bamuyita Sanje Patel n'atekinga over kati ne tubanga gwe tutwalira rent.
If they were not paying to the Custodian Board, but that property was under Custodian Board, then why are you asking whom were they paying money to? If they were supposed to deal with you.
What I'm saying?
Yes.
We had our agents some time back.
Yes.
Who are lawyers. When they removed them the contracts, it is our loans officer to do that. Go and get it. But I think they weren't paying us rent.
So now, what is your last parting shot for the tenants residing in that plot? What should they do now?
My question is, they even sued the Ochaya and us to land board, claiming they have a certificate of repossession.
Mkuu Ivan, tetugenda nko mu kooti nabo, tetunabatwala.
In part 4 of the Custodian Bullies, we look at Patrick Wanume, who was evicted by Trans-Africa Commerce Limited under unclear circumstances, despite court ordering him to return to the property.
And of course, you should look out for part 4 of The Custodian Bullies by Avan Kahwa. Now we'll take a very short break and return with much more. Stay with us.
Sent transport to the wrong person. Here's how to reverse it with MTN Mobile Money. Dial *165#. Select My Account. Select Initiate Reversal. You will see your last 3 transactions. Select the transaction you want to reverse. Enter your mobile money PIN and you'll get an SMS confirmation that the transaction has been blocked from being withdrawn. And that's it. Please note, only transactions that haven't been withdrawn can be reversed.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
This is our family's pride.
This is my friend.
This is the future of our nation.
She is the future of Uganda, and the policies I enact today will protect her from teenage pregnancy.
She is the hope of our community, and I will talk to others about how we must protect her.
She is our family's pride, and I will protect her from child marriage and talk to her about the dangers of teenage pregnancy. We each have a role to play in empowering our teenage girls to protect them from child marriage and pregnancy, because when we empower them, we empower our nation. Protect the girl, save the nation.
Their support meant so much to me. I stayed focused and was protected from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. I will support other girls against child marriage and teenage pregnancy.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sauti 116.
Hey!
Paying your bills the old way.
Let's go. Just need to buy some power.
Paying your bills with the My Airtel app.
Bro, there's a line.
You have the power in your pocket. The power to instantly pay your bills hassle-free. Unlock that power with the My Airtel app. Visit the App Store or Google Play now.
Oh, you're back.
The most affordable 4G smartphone in Uganda from Airtel. Now heavily discounted from 250,000 shillings to 150,000 shillings only. Yes, 150,000 shillings only to keep you connected to your loved ones.
Dial *175*94# to activate free 1GB instantly and 100% double data on all weekly and monthly bundles for 3 months. Get one today while stock lasts from the nearest Airtel shop. With Airtel, the smartphone network.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite shows.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
It's super fast internet. Oh, it's a super camera. It's a super battery.
Phone battery full.
Yeah, it's a super deal. Get the Kabode Super from MTN now at a reduced initial deposit of only 49,000 shillings and pay the balance in Pola for as low as 833 shillings per day. Grab this Super Kabode deal this Christmas and get 2 GB of free MTN data every month for 8 months. Get the Kabode Super now from any MTN shop countrywide. Everywhere you go, MTN. Regulated by UCC.
Welcome back from that break, and this is Lunchtime News here on UBC TV. Let's have a look now at what's happening in the latest in business. Uganda and Japan have started negotiations geared towards upgrading the Karuma Dam. This has been stated by the Executive Director, UNRA, Allen Kagina, on her tour to establish the state of the Kampala flyover. At the same event, the Vice President of Japan International Cooperation Agency, Dr. Yamada Junichi, appreciated the work done on the Kampala flyover and road upgrading project.
The rapidly increasing traffic congestion within Kampala has for many years been due to the construction of the city's landmark infrastructure. The Executive Director of Uganda National Roads Authority, Allen Kagina, says the good friendship between the government of Uganda and the government of Japan has enabled the development of infrastructure in Uganda.
We have very good relations with the government of Japan, and JICA has supported other projects in Uganda apart from the Nile Bridge, which was commissioned a few years ago. JICA will also be supporting a road, Yumbe-Ure, to support the refugee area. And we are currently in discussions again with JICA to support underground financing a new Karuma Bridge. That Karuma Bridge, as you know, most of you, is fairly old and is due for replacement. So these are some of the other projects which perhaps are not as well known as the Nile Bridge or the flyover that we have engaged and had fruitful relationships. There was another completed project at Atiak Nimule that was completed, I think, 2015. That road is now tarmacked all the way to the border with southern Sudan. So we enjoy a good and strong relationship with the government of Japan through infrastructure development.
Vice President of Japan International Cooperation Agency, Dr. Yamada Junichi, appreciated the work done on the Kampala flyover by the road upgrading project.
As Ms. Kagino told that the 80% has been completed for the Lot 1, so I'm very satisfied with that numbers.
The Kampala flyover project plot, which is at 80%, will be completed in this mid-year, as the Executive Director of UNRA explains.
The progress that has been made with the support of the funding, and where we are right now is going to be Lot 2. When we have finished Lot 1, then this Lot 2, which goes right over Oasis Mall to Garden City, and another branch which goes over to Ginger Road. That will be Lot 2. So we are standing in the location of Lot 2. But we've just visited Lot 1, which is how many percent? 80% complete.
This project will improve traffic flow within the Greater Kampala by decongesting the central business district.
Now, the Uganda-South Africa Business Summit organized in Pretoria, South Africa, has ended, with traders from the two countries optimistic that the two-day summit will see trade and investment between Uganda and South Africa boom. Take a watch.
Recently, the heads of the states of Uganda and South Africa attended the two-day event discussing bilateral trade between the two countries, hoping to strengthen business ties.
Please, Pan-Africanism. Issue number one is to deal with the issue of prosperity. Prosperity through the sale of goods and services.
While addressing the business community, the Executive Director, Uganda Revenue Authority Jackson Musinguzi, promised to come up with the policies on taxes levied on commodities.
The side of Uganda Revenue Authority, we have been noticing increasing trade between our two nations. And one of the initiatives we have taken is to sign a mutual recognition agreement with the South African Revenue Authority. It's actually called South African Revenue Services. The importance of this agreement is to increase the facilitation of compliant businesses within our two nations.
The Presidential Advisor for Investment, Audrey Rabogo, is convinced the summit will promote Uganda's home-made products at the world market.
Manufacturing, assembly, and processing. So South Africa has technology, skill, and capital. Uganda has those three, but even more: land and less cost of agricultural production. But Uganda needs to keep its food longer, so refrigeration, we need partnership. Uganda needs to evacuate its fresh fruits and vegetables quickly to South Africa. We need good options: land, air, and sea.
Traders and members of parliament from the two countries who attended are hopeful this will lead to great achievement in trade and investment between the two countries.
Tujja okulaba ebyabufuzi ki ebiremesezza ffenna okukulaakulana. Bwe tuba nga tubitereezezza amateeka ag'abantu oba aba South Africa abali e Kampala gabakkiriza okukola. Bannayuganda abali wano mu South Africa amateeka agaliwo gabakkiriza okulaba nti no bagenda mu maaso.
Ivan Juko, Wycliffe Mudach for UBC.
Sports news now, and we look at basketball, where Uganda's City Oilers Basketball Club is getting ready to represent the country at the Basketball Africa League Championship due in Egypt next month. 5 other teams wait, with only the top 4 gaining progress to the next round. John Bansentamu reports.
In a little over a month, Uganda's City Oilers Basketball Club will be in Egypt for the Basketball Africa League Championship. The Basketball Africa League Championship BAL is now in its 3rd edition and remains with only 12 clubs, 6 of which, including City Oilers, have gone through the horrendous road to BAL.
These are the top 12 teams in African basketball. So for us as a club, as City Oil, it is a huge deal for us to be among those 12 teams competing in African League.
The championship is the grandest stage for club basketball in Africa and is a dream come true to the City Oilers franchise that on the local scene is unmatched in 8 years.
It's been a long wait for us, you know. Originally, I think when we set out winning the league and playing in the Zone 5 and the club championships, there was always talk of a bigger league like this coming, and it was always a dream for us to be able to get to this stage. The first time around, you know, we fell short in 2019. It was very heartbreaking, and it took us a much longer time because of COVID to be able to get back to this point, you know, and now to even just think about the games coming up, and you know, we're part of the best 12 teams in Africa. It's a very unbelievable feeling.
Much as it's the first, it is something that we are not exactly new to. The kind of competition that we're going to face in the BAL is similar to what we've been facing throughout the last campaign's national team and all the other African championships.
The remaining 12 teams are now grouped in two, with the City Oilers in the Nile Conference alongside Cape Town Tigers, Ferroviario de Beira, Petro de Luanda, Al Ahly and SLAC, with these clubs from South Africa, Mozambique, Angola, Egypt and Guinea respectively. This City Oilers group will play their round-robin games in Egypt starting 26th April 2023, with the top four progressing to the quarterfinals to be hosted at Rwanda's BK Arena. To ensure it's the perfect mix of players, the City Oilers will add an NBA Academy prospect as per regulations, but also pride in able and newly recruited youngsters.
Well, I've been putting in the work, so I have no pressure. I have no pressure at all. I've been working out, I'm ready to play. I hope even the recent games have given me an experience and I've learned a lot from them, so I'm ready to go.
It is my privilege to be playing for City Oil this season, because it's a great team. It is really pushing me to higher standards. I have to work towards success, so I put in the hard work and all goes well.
The Sahara Conference that has Abidjan Basketball Club Fighters of Ivory Coast, AS Douanes of Senegal, Nigeria's Kwara Falcons, Mali's Stade Malien, Rwanda's Side Reg and reigning champions US Monastir of Tunisia will play in Senegal next week. John Barnes, Sentamo, UBC News.
We do wish City Oilers all the best. And that story brings us to the end of this lunchtime news bulletin here on UBC TV. Thank you so much for having kept us company. My name is Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma. Catch you later.